These are backpacking light thoroughfare pants, the older version. They haven't quite gotten their newer version out yet. I think it was Pertex Quantum nylon that these were made of. But very lightweight, only 4 ounces, and even as light as they are, they'll keep you warm down to probably about 40 degrees really, unless it's wet and windy. Coming down from the summit of the mountain, my pants were totally soaked. But of course at that time it was probably 50 or 60 degrees maybe, but there was no wind, so I wasn't worried at all. I've also worn them for canoe training when I was totally soaking wet and there was a lot of wind and it was 60 degrees, and I really had no problem at all being cold in these. And I wore them every morning. There was only one morning that I actually had my dry duck pants on, and that's because I knew we were going to be going through some brush that was going to get me all soaking wet, at 40 degrees, and didn't know what the wind would be, so I just said, may as well stay dry, just for the heck of it. But these dry very fast, and so oddly not quite as fast as the pants, so that's probably because the torso generates more heat than the legs do in general. But very lightweight. In fact, they're lighter than my Patagonia Capilene 2 lightweight long underwear that I sleep in. These are 4.7 ounces, so 7/10 of an ounce heavier than that. But again, worked out very well. I switched to a lighter hat, nylon hat also. Had that boonie hat last year that was cotton. This is actually exactly half the weight, as it turns out, 3.1 ounces. Made of nylon, of course. Has some mesh ventilation. This I got on sale, I think, for $27. But it works very well. Has an extra floppy part back there that covers the neck. So when you're at the higher elevations, in the sun, you definitely need full protection. To protect your ears and neck and your face. I forgot to mention that these are normally like $80. I got them half price, about $40. And these I got somewhere about that same. I think it was 60% off, in fact. They were like $14, I think, for those. This was my backpacking light mosquito head net. I also had coated that in permethrin, but as it turned out, I never used it. Even in the Wind River range where the mosquitoes are worse, and I never used the deep. I had the long pants and the long sleeve shirt. I did get a couple bites on the backs of the palms, and did get a few bites on cheeks or neck area, but it really wasn't that bad. I switched to the Innovate Rocklight 315 shoes this year. Got these on sale for probably around half price, I guess. It was $47.50 shipped for these. So they're about twice as expensive as the Walmart shoes. 6 ounces lighter. But they worked out pretty well. They held up well to a lot of the rocks. Could certainly get a lot more use out of these. I still ended up getting blisters on the back of my heel in the same place that I did in the Smokies with the other shoes, so I don't know if I just have a problem area there or whatever, but I did finally go to the Heineken cook pot. This whole system with everything that's in it weighs 4.2 ounces. So that's the windscreen from my WinPro canister stove. So I had a hard time keeping the efficiency with this. No matter what height I used, if I had the windscreen relatively close to the pot, it just killed my efficiency. So that's what this was for. And I still had my fire steel, and I had a little mini dick lighter, and I had fuel bottle, and my homemade lid out of just lightweight aluminum flashing with a aluminum flue tape handle, and of course Heineken pot, and a Hormel Spam can upside down, which could also double as a chimney stove if I had some pot supports, but fits perfectly on the bottom of the Heineken stove. And I also had the sunglasses case, which I've now taken them out. Now I added that because, again, being at elevation and with the potential of snow on the trail, which thankfully we didn't have any, but I used them all the time anyway because we had nice sunny hiking weather. And instead of an iced tea spoon, I went to a Baskin-Robbins plastic spoon. Baskin-Robbins are definitely better than Dairy Queen or TCBY. They're heavier duty. Just don't leave it in the boiling water too long. Found that out. You know, I was busy doing something else, and I left it in there, and I ended up cracking the thing. And I added an op sack. So they recommend keeping it in another sack to prevent against punctures and to make sure that the seal doesn't come off. Because you know, pulling it this way, it lets go really easily for whatever reason. You know, it's just kind of like a Ziploc thing, but apparently it somehow seals out the odors. And I didn't have any problem, even though I had bad bear hangs a lot of times. One time I just set it right on top of a big boulder because there was no tree around that I could use. You know, and I didn't have any problem with, obviously, bears or the little rodents coming around. And I didn't take this, but I will in the future because I had a little triangle piece of chamois cloth, and I just think that the handy wipes, wring out better, and just probably be a little more useful. And I imagine it's also they dry faster, and I believe it's also lighter. So I'll just take a handy wipe here in the future. And let's see, I also did not take my bandana from last time. I did not take the trip tees from last time. I added my little Write in the Rain journal, which, as the name implies, you can write on the paper, totally waterproof. And as long as you have a waterproof pen, in my case I just use pencil, but this is very, very handy. I got the slightly larger version than the other one. I cut down my first aid kit to about a third of the weight. I had a lot of extra stuff in there that I didn't really need. I just had some, this time I just put some moleskins and band-aids and ibuprofen and a pair of plastic tweezers. I switched to thinner bear rope. I don't remember what exactly my other one was, 1/4 inch or 3/16 of an inch. And this one I went to 1/8 of an inch nylon, and just whatever Walmart had that was the smallest. And thankfully it was 48 inches instead of or 48 feet instead of the 40 I had last time. So I needed it because one of my bear hangs was 26 feet high. And I did not take the tripod leg extensions that I'd made out of tent poles last time. And I will probably drop the compression bag for my sleeping bag in the future. I had to take it this time just because I was taking 10 days worth of food and to fit it on the airplane. And as I carried on, I didn't check in anything. I had it all packed in my backpack and just carried that on. So everything would squeeze in a small enough size that it would fit in the overhead bin. I had to use a compression bag because I've never been able to get it to compress without that bag anywhere near as much. So I dropped that, and I will add possibly an sack. Like I said, the bear hangs were just a real pain, in that area. With those lodgepole pines, they're very skinny, and the limbs all droop down for the most part. So it's very difficult to find, good limbs to do bear hangs from. So I'll probably go to an sack. It's a lot cheaper than getting a canister, and a lot smaller, I guess. More flexible than having a solid canister, especially for the little hiking that I'll be doing out in the western U.S. since it's too far away from me, unfortunately. But that's pretty much it. So hopefully you got something from it. I'd encourage you to, if you wanted to see all the other equipment that in general I used or how I did pack my bag, my pack in the past, to check out the gear videos from the GSMNP trip. It's about 41 minutes worth if I recall correctly. But you might find some useful information there too.